So after about a month, we finally got to see the body cam footage of the Brown Jr. shooting. And upon seeing it, I already knew the bootlicking and excuses were gonna come. So no surprise there. This time it's a little different. Remember how about 3 to 4 years ago, maybe, you would have a video, you could see objective video, and the left would just see some shit that didn't even happen. And the right would usually be on it. About more or less. Sometimes they leave things out if they want to be a bit malicious. Now they're both doing the same thing, where now we have the right flat out lying about what happened. I'm just show you some prime figures just straight up telling you flat out lies about what happened. And the sad part is, because the right are a bunch of status bootlickers, they're eating this up because they have to defend police, no matter what, because they're fucking morons. So I'm going to show you the argument, I'm going to then show you the video, and I'm going to show you responses. Alright, so let's check this out. So you already know ABL tap dancing ass is, of course, going to side with the police no matter what. Because he's the big... I like this fool wearing a 1776 hat. Man, if he was there during the founding, we'd be a British colony, because he would have ratted us out to the British. He would have routed out all the founders through British, saying they're not obeying the law. I'm sorry, sadist bootlickers, none of y'all about 1776. Shut up. So anyway, let's just look at the argument.
Idiot backed up. They're saying, hey, get out the car, get out the car, get out the effing car. He's refusing. He's not going to do it. He decides to go ahead and gun it straight toward the officers to try and flee. Now, some are going to say, oh, he was just trying to escape, ABL, just let him go. Well, look, if I'm right in front of your car and I'm an officer with my gun out and I'm telling you, get out the car, stop, get out the car, stop, and you mash the gas, what am I going to do? Just get hit? Like, come on.
Okay, so now let's look. Same argument again, look.
Prepared for that. They come in, they're screaming at him to surrender. Instead, he gets into his car and drives it right at a group of officers. That's when they open fire, and he was killed in the process.
Okay, we're gonna go look at the video now. So, if you guys have seen, which I'm sure most of you have, if you're watching me, you probably have seen, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Because, guess what? Brown, the angle he was shot at, one of the shots, a couple shots, landed in his back, and one in the back of the head. If that is the case, if he drove straight at the officer, and then they opened fired, and he got hit in the back, that means the other officers fired straight at another officer as well. So either these officers are super incompetent and should be fired because they don't know what a line of fire is, but that wasn't the case, or they're lying. And that's not exactly what happened. So let's look at what actually happened and see if pulling the trigger was justified. So watch. So then he backs up right there. If he wanted to get out and gun it for the officers, look, when he used to pull forward, he's right in front of the two officers and can gun it that way. But look what he does instead. Look, he slows down there and then cuts hard left. See these two officers standing right around here? He could have gunned it into both of those officers and took off and gotten away quicker. But he doesn't. He slows down, waits for that officer to move, then cuts hard left to escape, right? And then yeah, look when you shoot. That's right there when they shoot. What threat is posed to the officer's life upon right at that frame? Look where he is. Look where the officers are. Right when they pull the trigger. What threat is he to the officers right there? All the people on the right I'm seeing is claiming he drove straight at the officer and then they fired, which I already explained why that doesn't make sense. So here's when they actually fire. What is the threat to their life right there? Someone's got to explain that to me. This is the right just going back to their comply or die. You run, that's fleeing. Fleeing and resisting are not the same thing. Apparently, y'all think you can shoot people if they try to flee. And then you get these dumbasses that go, you should have just complied. The cop's job is to deal with non-compliance. If everyone just complied, we don't need police. At all, period. So again, if these people want to he's throwing the car at them and they were in fear for their life, why did they not fire when he was trying to turn and close to them? Why did they wait till he drove away? They were in the clear. He wasn't a threat to them at that point, and then they light him up. They wanted to do this. And they're not getting charged because the what's his name said it was justified. And then I go, oh, it's settled. It must be justified. Just because you can go legally justified does not mean right. Look at the statement for this. I wish I could get away with this in court. Look at right here. Mr. Brown's death, while tragic, was justified because Mr. Brown's actions caused 3 deputies with the Pentank County Sheriff's Office to reasonably believe it was necessary to use deadly force to protect themselves and others. Isn't that funny? You can just go, well, I reasonably believed something, so I'm okay. Sure, I would love for you to try to, any citizen, I would love for you to try to use that excuse in court and see how that goes for you. But let's go into my favorite part, the comments, till we can make fun of the bootlicking. When you put yourself into a situation where someone has to choose between your life and theirs, don't be surprised when they choose theirs. Okay, let's go back. Where is this in this frame here? I'll make it bigger for you. Where is this a threat between their life, the officers on the right and the back, and his? Where is it? I don't see it. Oh, here we go. Here's a classic. There's one very common denominator in every single one of these cases. Actually, 2. Don't be a criminal. Don't resist and comply with the orders of law enforcement. If every one of these people did these things, they would still be alive today. If every one of the people did these things, we wouldn't need cops anyway, so let's just get rid of the police. Their job is to deal with non-compliance. If you guys want to go, let's just go street violence and non-compliance can mean death, I don't think conservatives want to go down that route. Because that's an ugly route I don't think you want to see. Because a lot of y'all tough guys in the middle of fucking nowhere. But when you go somewhere else, I don't think you're going to like street justice very much. But you know, again, I say let's just wean police down and give people more guns and let the community deal with it. The trick to knowing the truth is to go opposite of whatever BLM and MSNBC. See, this is that fucking boomer mindset. These are the boomers. So you show me that you have no ability to freely think. Of course, this is one of the highest upvoted comments. So you have no ability to freely think. You're just going to say the opposite of what other person says because you assume the other person's wrong with no evidence. Yeah, that is really, really good intellectual curiosity. See, these are those middle America, you know, I'm not trying to shout at middle America, but I mean like the middle of nowhere people who just don't know anything about what's going on in the cities. These fucking Eds. You know what I'm talking about? The Eds and the Jebs and fucking Cletuses. Yeah, don't be an Ed. I'm in North Carolina, been telling people, wait for the body cam footage and more info. This is why. The dude wasn't innocent. Shame on his mom for trying to make it seem unjustified. It was unjustified. People are legit trying to start a race war? What? People saying this shooting was clearly unjustified, which it was, is trying to start a race war. Okay, sure. Sure, buddy. He didn't care his children would now be left fatherlessness, or fatherless. Sorry to be so real, but how selfish is that? Don't you love how they play that, the guilt trip, like they give a shit about kids? Y'all don't give a shit about these areas and the problems in these areas, but they like to pretend they can in only specific circumstances. And guess what? I can argue this too. They would have still had a father if the police were still were actually competent and knew how to apprehend suspects. Or they do, and they only choose to do it with select people. He's using a car as a deadly weapon. No, fleeing is not using a car as a deadly weapon. If he gunned it into the officers when he had a chance, that would be using the car as a deadly weapon, but he didn't do that. So I don't know what video you're watching, because this is fucking ABL's video, and he shows the same video I just showed you in this. That's how dumb these people are. That's how blindly tribal they are. And how much they love the boot. They're seeing things that did not happen in the video. He broke the law selling drugs. Oh, there's that classic one. Okay. He broke the law selling drugs, and it has a rap sheet 22 pages long as a felon. Why didn't you let him go? Nobody argued let him go. That's a straw man. No one argued that. They're saying, why didn't you apprehend him alive? Because you clearly had the resource and were able to, and he was not posing a threat to the officers. Your job is to apprehend him. You only shoot when your life or someone else's life is directly in danger, like Rayshard Brooks. That was a justified shooting. As you notice, the officers were fighting with him. He got the taser. The officer didn't fire until he turned around and pointed the taser. That's when there was immediate threat to an actual immediate threat to the officer. Fleeing is not an immediate threat to their life. At that point, you're basically going to have a car chase. Because I saw a lot of people on the right going, what happens if you leave? They'll find you. Okay, go find him then. Do your job. There you go. If it's so easy, then you didn't need to shoot him. Clearly. Wow, this actually... Meanwhile, Ashley Bever's killer goes free. Ashley Kev was a criminal, and she should have obeyed the law. She shouldn't have been participating in a riot. But I guess that logic only works with a certain type of people on the right, doesn't it? Exactly, he broke several laws in the weeks prior. He knew he was busted, and this would be his second strike. Not only was he resisting arrest, I'm assuming. He wasn't resisting arrest. He was attempting manslaughter by almost hitting him. Whether it's intentional or not, you still get manslaughter. Because you were told to stop. Why isn't Kim Potter getting manslaughter? Well, she is getting charged with. But I mean, why isn't the right going, Kim Potter should be held responsible for manslaughter? It wasn't intentional. She didn't mean to kill him. But the right's go, she should be let go because she's incompetent and someone died because of her incompetence. Why do you argue for a two-tiered system? I don't get why they want this. This is what I said. They're a bunch of statist bootlickers. I've always said the right hates authoritarianism when it's 300 pounds with pink hair, but they love authoritarianism when it has a badge on it. Stop trying to act like you're better than the left, because to be honest, you're not really different. You're more or less the same. Why anyone tries to flee an officer with a gun pointed at him, let alone 6, or however many without there is beyond me. Odds are you aren't going to get away. What the hell's going through his mind? That's not even relevant to the situation. It doesn't matter. It's how they responded. How they responded was wrong. It doesn't matter what's going through his head. What is this that you guys don't get? There's a very simple... Of course, the 70s and 76 guy likes this shit. There's a very simple way to stop this from happening. Do what the police say. Comply or die. That's it. They just want comply or die. Okay. I mean, I don't think the right wants that, because guess what? Sooner or later, the boot will come for you. I mean, it already has, and you basically licked it anyway when they shut down your business and, and tried to enforce mask mandates. And you guys still say back to blue. Okay. I don't want to hear the right whining about, police enforcing mask mandates or corrupt politicians enforcing laws that are unconstitutional because it's the police that enforce these fucking laws. So, when they inevitably come for your guns, I want to see all the conservatives get on their hands and fucking knees and hand over the guns and say, yes, officer. Otherwise, if you say no, anything that happens after that is your fault. Anyway, I'll cut it here. I just had to go with this absolutely insane bootlicking. It's going to keep going. I probably know tomorrow is going to be a bunch more people just kissing officers that have attacked them out. What a great job they did. And just like, as the last video I saw, they're going to freak out and gasp and be terrified when someone calls an officer meanie words. But cheer on when they shoot somebody. Sorry, certain people. I'm just noticing a pattern. Anyway. Hopefully in 2024 this sets up libertarians, because I think a lot of people don't like the bootlicking on either side. As long as they can get someone who's not crazy, I think they have a good shot if they can find someone who's not crazy. But that's a separate topic. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop here, stay safe, don't get shot, all that good shit.